Welcome to Subramani. This is I'm talking from Masai Mara, and since I run out of topics, I'm sorry. I'll just show you the scenery behind me. Yes, there's a river running. Why I'm not shooting down is it's slightly drizzling, so I can't sit there with my equipment. So I'm here. So somebody's asked, yeah, is there a great future still ahead in the US? Yes, maybe it is. I'm not saying it is not, but the equity returns are unpredictable whether it is US or India. So don't ask me that question. Is it really, if we get 5% for 3 years, will you deactivate your YouTube? Go take a walk, right? Anything beyond that will be unprintable, and I don't think the authorities are going to like it. YouTube will deactivate me for using profanity, so I'm not answering that. And somebody asked why exactly. I don't know why. This is not an equity video, YouTube channel at all. It is more a personal finance channel. Anyway, I'm not even answering that. The best time to invest was yesterday. The best time is now, right? Thank you so much. Why am I watching when I don't have a job? I am 25 years of age. I have no clue. And watching my videos will not get you a job. Go out there, attend interviews, and that's the only way you will get a job. You said yesterday that equity will give 3% return in next 10 years. That's true. If equity gives you bad returns, so is debt. Debt is also going to give you bad returns if there is no growth. So, what 3% for 10 years? You also said 20 years equity will give 7.5% CAGR in the long run. So the question is, equity has given good returns in the past, does not mean equity will give great returns in the future, right? It will, provided you know all the things of investing in equities, buying more, keeping on investing for 10 years, 20 years. But there have been markets where this is not true. I mean, mostly true, but not always true. So when that happens, you will have to be worried. And also, please understand, in equity, you can have completely different perceptions. So what you do with your money is your call. What somebody else does is his call. So when Rakesh Jhunjhunwala or Vallabh Bansali or Dhirubhai Ambani or Mukesh Ambani do something, it doesn't mean you and I will be able to copy. Similarly, when I do something, you don't know the whole story, right? You don't know the whole story that I started investing in Zomato at 47 and kept adding. So today for me, Zomato falling or rising by 5% does not really mean anything. Same thing for Indigo. I keep buying, I keep selling when the price goes up, when it goes down, I buy. So many of these shares are something which I keep adding time and again. I keep investing, I buy more and more, I sell, I do all kinds of stuff. So if you don't know the whole story, you can't guess my portfolio, you can't get the size of my portfolio or the return. So don't worry about what I am doing. Listen to what I am saying, and then you decide what you want to. I am not here to manage your money. How to invest in UK, Japan equity and use T-bills from India. You can invest in UK. It's difficult, but you will get some European index. You will get Japan equity. There are funds which are Japan equity, China equity, Korea, Taiwan also perhaps. You get those funds. But the question is, how much money will you be able to put? So it's better to put in one. I think ICICI has a global advantage fund or something like that, which decides where to put in equity, which equity to put. Should you put it in Taiwan? Should I put it in Japan? Should I put it in US? They make the decision. So for somebody putting 10,000-15,000 rupees a month, that's a good fund. Just stay on it for 5 years, because the fund manager, when the fund manager switches from Taiwan to Japan or Japan to China or China to US, you don't pay tax, right? If you're in India, you don't pay tax when the fund manager switches. So let the fund manager switch. You withdraw whenever you want, maybe after 5 years, 3 years, 10 years, whatever, and then you will pay 12.5% tax without indexation. That's the fact today. But 10 years later, what will be the tax? Who will be the finance minister? Let's not guess all that. Nothing is happening. 15% is minimum we'll get. Next 15 years, you don't have to worry. You will get 15% minimum return in equity. I wish I was as optimistic. I don't need that in my portfolio. My portfolio can survive with a 0% return as long as I keep getting my dividends. But there is nothing to stop people from being so optimistic. So best of luck. EMI is a way of SIP in buying real estate. Well, if that's how you understand, I have not done a good job. It's not. EMI is not an SIP. EMI is very, very expensive because you're paying interest on an asset which you are using but not owning. EMI is not a way, maybe it's an analogy, but the downsides are very different, right? Even if you miss an SIP 1 year, or even if you miss an SIP for 3 years, let's say there's a girl, she's 28 years of age, she gets pregnant, and for 3 years she doesn't work and can't put any money in SIP, her money is still growing. This can't happen in case of an EMI. In case of an EMI, you will be penalized, assets will be repossessed. The risk in EMI or in a real estate being funded by EMI is much higher than doing an SIP. So not a good thing. Who was this? Raina, Shashank Raina has explained it well. Thank you, Shashank. You have done what I should be doing. Stock market is a place where rich people make money from retail investors. This is not true, because yes, of course, rich people make money. Obviously, 20 years back, Mukesh Ambani was richer than me, and 20 years later, he will be richer than me, and the gap will only keep increasing simply because more money of his is compounding than mine, right? So, yeah, there will be somebody who was poorer than me 20 years back, and 20 years later also he will be poorer than me if he is not compounded enough money. He is not compounded as much money as I have compounded. So, kindly make a video on real estate current situation. I have no clue about real estate current situation, so I am unfit to make those videos. Why equity returns will be less? Thank you, sir. Excellent advice for free. My videos will always be free. Don't worry. Nobody is paying me for making these videos. What is this double tika? Good question. There is a Shani Mandir just outside my house. I visit it mostly every day, sometimes twice a day. And there's a black tika and a red tika, both from the same place. So, why are you generalizing by taking US markets alone? I'm not talking about US markets alone. I'm saying what happens in US happens around the world. When US sneezes, the world catches a flu. Make no mistake about that. Sensex will cross 1 lakh in the next 1 year. Wow. They want market to come down. They keep trying to don't try to time the market. I have no interest in the market coming down. I have no interest in the market going up. I have money, I will invest. If the market comes down, I will invest. If the market goes up, I will invest, because right now I'm earning more than what I need. So obviously the remaining money will go into equity. Sir, you're very biased towards government jobs. Government employees may not be the target audience, but since the pension is planned automatically, but you're portraying the false image of the government jobs. Government jobs are fantastic, were fantastic, are fantastic, continue to be fantastic, but only 1% of the country's population gets it. So if they are my audience, great. If they're not my audience, great. It doesn't matter. But yeah, it's the most secured place. You are very unlikely to be thrown out because the organization is not making money or things like that. Even PSU jobs are far more secure than I have zero security, right? So that will continue to be. Goldman Sachs doesn't want people to invest in equity, so they're forcing people to invest in FD, that is a bank. This is ridiculous. Goldman Sachs doesn't care a damn where you invest your money. They're pretty big. So very nice picture about the broad picture. I also believe that tepid equity returns in the next few years, but I don't understand why only 10% move away from equity. If I do understand equity allocation, risk appetite varies, right? Yeah, I agree. Who is this? This is Narasimha Murthy. Yeah, I agree. Each one's appetite will decide how much they want to put in equity. I'm sitting in the wrong place in the sense that there is light coming from behind. I should have the light coming from front. But if I do that, you will miss this beautiful scenery. There's a river flowing there, and there's a limitation to how much my wire can go up. And yeah, there's a river flowing. There are hippos in that river. There are maybe there are crocodiles, but I have not seen crocodiles. I've seen hippos. Yeah, but I'm sitting in a much higher ground, so nothing to worry for me. As usual, great analysis by Subra. One thing to consider, like positive returns in equity is very unlikely. Similarly, a decline may not be linear. There could be 20, 30, 40% crash, and then there's a slow recovery. Sudeep, curious mind. Yeah, this is absolutely right. See, what happens is when I tell you that you will get 3% return in a year, people say 3% return is okay, but it is not 3% return. It will get you 18% return, then it will give you minus 15% return, then it will give you 14% return, then it will give you minus 18% return. So these kind of things hurt you. So let's say the 100 should go to 103 in 1 year, right? When I say 3% return, it does not happen that way. 100 goes to 120, then it comes to 117, then it comes to 115, then it comes to 85. right? When that fall happens, will you be able to hold on, or will you get out at 85 because you're scared? So those are the questions to ask. It is not as though when you look in the chart, it says 1 year return is 3%. 1 year return 3% people can handle. It's not so much of a problem, but it is not 1%. It is January was 12, February is 14, March is minus 26, then it is 18. Then so every month that fluctuation is what bothers people. End result is 3, provided you sat through those tumultuous time. That is the challenge in equity. India will give far more returns if inflation is more. That's ridiculous, because you're talking about real returns. Real returns means returns minus inflation. That is what you should be worried about, not the total returns that you get if inflation is high. Very scary news? No, not very scary news. I think people should be ready for lower returns from equity. Stock market cannot give less than inflation in the long run. I agree completely, but there are years when it can be. Also remember, markets can be far irrational far longer than you can be solvent. So if you become insolvent during that period, you are in trouble. Anyway, thank you.